Elon Sieg Heiling
Yeah.
on America's Got Talent?
Come
Not
on.
good. That's not good.
Good morning, everybody. It is time for a different kind of video. Well, it's obviously politics related as usual, but at a time where comedy as an industry, stand-up comedy, etc., is kind of dying on life support, if you will. And that's for a number of reasons. It's sort of taken a right-wing heel turn, if you will, and a lot of that has to do with sort of the Joe Rogan atmosphere. Among other things, it's sort of hard to put your finger on it, but it's good comedians are fewer and farther between these days, and so you really have to appreciate it when you do find some good, honest comedy. And that being said, we're going to go ahead and tune into a moment here on a podcast. This is comedian Stavros, who I'll admit he's new for me. I didn't know about this guy until like several weeks ago, honestly, when he started making noise with a lot of sort of political commentary. And then, of course, the one and only Tim Dillon, who I would file under one of the only good working comedians still out there, people that are worth, at least for myself, tuning into and appreciating. Of course, nobody's perfect. Obviously, that goes without saying. But let's go ahead and watch. We'll tune in. This is a segment where they're discussing Elon Musk and the billionaire situation in the United States. Let's just go ahead and watch and tune in and comment. Here we go.
I give them props. I go, Sam Altman, what you're doing in Africa is good because it's out of view. So that's good. The fact
Check
that
for evil. We don't know what you're up to.
Hey,
That's very evil.
Sam Altman, giving everyone a biometric crypto when they're born so that you could just give them money so you can enslave them in a caste system. But you're doing it in Africa. We don't really know what it is and no one's really reporting on it. And that whistleblower turns up dead.
Yeah.
You're on the right track.
Whistleblower's dead is one of the most classic forms of evil possible.
Elon Sieg Heiling on America's Got Talent?
Come
not
on.
good. That's not good. Zuckerberg, a 3-hour thing with Rogan, that's not great. That's not great.
The Nazi shit is like, it's like, not only are you a fucking piece of shit, but it's like, you're a hack. You couldn't come up with something.
Well, it's like weird. It's weird because it's clearly, and listen, I don't know that the guy, I don't think he's a Nazi, but I don't know, is he trolling? But it is a weird salute that
there's no
other way.
Yes, there's no positive.
I agree.
If you're trolling, you're a 50-year-old billionaire who's a troll.
It's not good if he's trolling, but I'm wondering, like, what is he doing? What is the thought process?
I mean, I really think it's pretty simple, and it's like every time he's tried, he's a masterclass in losing public support. Because remember, like 10 years ago, if you're watching any movie and they have it's Iron Man.
Oh, it's a cool thing.
Like Iron Man calls Musk and he's like, I'm using some of the tech you sent over. Or if they ever needed shorthand for a genius in the if it's a period piece, they say Einstein. 10 years ago, they say Elon Musk. Everyone viewed him as a genius. And then it became when he started posting, and it's like, wait, this guy's just stealing memes and tweets.
I think the problem is the exposure level. I think that
totally.
What always interests me a lot about people is,
for me, I think the downfall of I was one of the people, I fall into that category of the Musk admirers. People ask me again, like 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, what I thought of him. I'd say, great innovator, cool, Tony Stark, all these comparisons, because of the genius or the innovation of his companies, fighting climate change, electric vehicles, SpaceX, all these really interesting things, which I'm a big sci-fi guy, I'm a big future guy, so I can appreciate those things. As soon as I tuned into him on Twitter and I saw a lot of the things he was saying or tweeting or retweeting, and just how it slowly got worse and worse over time, just the nonstop cascade of drivel and lies and racist, just like overtly racist, like Nazi posts, and culminating with this support of Trump, and it just all collapsed before my eyes, and I could not deny the fact that this man is truly a moron or a clown or a troll or whatever you want to call it, or just an outright neo-Nazi or So that was my realization. It was almost just like that whole facade crumbling and falling apart. And so that dynamic I definitely experienced for myself.
I think that
totally.
What always interests me a lot about people is that people lust for fame,
yes,
which has so many downsides.
It's bad.
Whereas
it's legitimately
money has
bad
not
for you.
a ton of downsides.
Yeah,
like there are downsides to having money.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a lot less.
Too much of it eats at your soul.
It eats at your soul.
There's not whatever. But you can get past that.
But fame's a whole. It's a very like paradigm shifting thing. It's destabilizing. It's weird. And what's interesting to me is about his lust for fame.
Right.
I think is one of those things that makes me slightly uncomfortable. I think him and Trump are about to have a showdown. I think it's coming.
That will be hilarious.
I find this dynamic interesting as well because I know Tim Dillon, in terms of degrees of separation, Tim Dillon is connected to Joe Rogan, but he maintains himself on the sort of outside sphere. He's not in the Rogan sphere. He's sort of his own thing, and you can really tell he likes being his own independent sort of guy, creation or show or whatever. But he's friends with Joe Rogan. He goes on the Joe Rogan Experience, and obviously Trump was or Rogan had Trump on as well, and he has Musk on all the time. Rogan and Musk are friends. Joe Rogan is kind of obsessed with Elon Musk. He's obsessed with that whole sphere. He loves being in that sort of power sphere and shutting his brain off and indulging in that. And so it makes you wonder, what will happen sort of the next time Trump has Tim Dillon on, or does Tim Dillon continue to sort of separate himself from that whole sphere as well and become more of an outside critic? Depending on how those things shape up, I think that dynamic is interesting, sort of under the surface as well.
I think it's coming. I really believe it's coming.
The finals of like RuPaul's Drag Race level. I mean,
think Trump's going to win.
Trump's going to handle him. It's not even close. He's going to handle him. He's going to handle him.
It's going to handle him.
Musk does not know what's coming his way. Well, that's why when I'm going back to the Sig Heil
Trump
shit.
might see him as a fall guy too. Trump might be looking at him and going like, let him just do what he's doing.
That's what scares me as a not fan of Trump is like he will figure out a way to harness how much of a fucking loser Elon is and get out of some serious trouble. And we will actually be happy. We'll be like, good job, Trump, for a second.
Trump is if you watch him, I've never met him. Mm-hmm. I know people that know him well. He has these weird political instincts that no one knows where they're from, but they're unmatched, and they're all. He's always weirdly like hitting the note when he needs to hit the note.
Yeah,
and I think one of the reasons he looked at this whole thing and he goes, I need guys around me who can go down.
Right.
He's stacking up. I think he looks at it and goes, I need some guys around me that can go down.
Yeah. I think he's got like a tabloid mind. Yeah. Like he knows like big, like.
What's reality TV?
Reality TV is what it is.
It's like he's manufactured.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I think what he's been able to do is like look at guys who think they're using him.
Right.
I believe they all think they're using him. I think he's going, no, I'm using you. You don't even know it.
Right.
I know you think you're using me. I'm actually using you. That's what I think, but I don't know.
Because it is, again, Queens real estate developer.
That's
all of those. It's kind of like that Irish shit of like he's taking that like down and dirty shit.
He knows the things that we're saying that these guys have no clue about. He's observed them. He's not in fist fights and all these working class things.
Yeah.
But he's observed them. He gets what he goes, oh, I get what that guy got out of that.
Right.
So he's able to get. So I think him and Elon are on a crash course.
That will be very interesting. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, personally, I'd love to see them both take each other out, but whatever. This episode of Stavros.
All right, and we'll leave it there at that. The ad read, which we don't know what that is, but I agree. I like seeing honest, accurate. I like living in the real world, people. That's my thing. I like living in reality. I like looking at things from a real perspective, what's really going on, not getting lost in conspiracy theories and bullshit and things that can make your head spin. I think that was just a good, honest conversation. Trump, his political instincts are, he was not a politician before. I mean, maybe in some ways he was, just in terms of the way he was, running his businesses and, the working the media and those things. But, he, before he even really got into the presidential race, he was, the perfect politician. He's the perfect marketer. He is the perfect liar. He knows how to manipulate the masses and the media and all those things. And so it's what he does best. And in an environment where you could potentially have Musk, tanking not just his own companies, not just the government, but the entire economy and all these things. And while Musk maintains a lower approval rating than Trump, he could potentially, throw Musk under the bus and let that whole empire collapse underneath him. Or, of course, Musk will probably find a way to weasel his way out of it with his billions of dollars. But that remains to be seen. So yeah, just a quick clip there from Stavros and Tim Dillon. Let me know what you guys think of the Musk-Trump dynamic. How much longer will it last? Will it collapse miserably, or will they find a way to make it work for 4 years? Who knows? That'll do it for now. Please subscribe, please like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.